I'm Grace Chilcott and I play in the Twisted Dolls. Twisted Dolls, there's two of us. There's myself on drums and we've got Luke who's on guitar and vocals. We're a blues-influenced garage rock and roll band based in Manchester.
Yeah. Excellent. How long have you been formed for? How long have you been playing now together?
Me and Luke met about 18 months ago. So
Yeah.
we've been playing since about spring 2015.
Yeah.
It works quite well as a two-piece because of the way Luke plays. And also his guitar tone. There's a lot of low end in that, so it does sort of get into the bass frequencies. So that fills the sound up a bit, and we sort of play off each other a lot as well. There's a lot of unison going on, so it keeps things really strong between us. Quite a lot of gigs lined up. We're up and down the country a little bit for the next few months, and then at the end of March we go out to Brussels.
Lovely, yeah.
Playing 2 gigs over there, which is going to be brilliant. They're our first international dates, and off the back of this I think we've been had people in sort of Berlin and Stockholm seeing if we'd be interested in playing, so there might be some more European dates later in the year. There's going to be a full tour in August where we're going to release a single, and then in October we're hoping to have an EP out which we're starting to record next week. Previously recorded at SSR in Manchester. That's where we did our last single, Electrify. And we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. We might be back in SSR for a couple of songs on the EP, but we're also going to Eve Studios, which I believe is in Cheshire, for one of the songs, and we've got a big theatre space that we're going to be using for another track, which is going to give us quite an old school vibe, which we think is going to really work for that song. So I'm excited. If I'm practicing on my own, it tends to not be band stuff. It tends to be messing about, just coming up with new ideas that I might want to throw in somewhere.
Experimental work.
Yeah, just seeing what comes out really, because I'm not a huge fan of playing the same things over and over again, so it's nice to have a little bit of freedom, and some of the best ideas happen by accident, so it's nice to just play and see what comes out really. So last summer I went to a couple of, I guess you'd call them drum camps. In July I went to study with Mike Johnston in America, and that was brilliant with 7 other female drummers. So that was quite unique because it's very rare that you get that many female drummers together, so it was a nice dynamic. And I learned a lot and had a brilliant time. And I also went to the Freddie G Drum Academy, which is down in Southampton, and it's a very different thing, but I've been to it I think 4 times now, and it's absolutely brilliant. There's about 60 drummers just take over a hill in Southampton, and they have people like Ash Sohn, Steve White, Craig Blundell, Ian Matthews from Kasabian, Mikey Sorbello was there. They just have all these big name drummers that come in, and you can just learn from them from a week, and it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun, and it's great to you get so many ideas from it. There's stuff that I practice now that we covered 4 years ago at the Freddie G Drum Academy, so you get a lot of inspiration there.
Excellent.
I guess when I first started, there wasn't, when you open the drum magazine, there was never a female drummer in there really, and I think that's changed a lot in the past few years. We've got people like Anika Miles that are doing really well, and I think it's helping that people can see that there are female drummers out there that are as good as anyone. It doesn't matter what gender they are. A good drummer is a good drummer. I just think the drumming scene is a great thing to be a part of. They're always the first person from another band that you're gigging with to come up and say hello. And there's no competition between drummers either. Like if a guitarist sees another guitarist with great licks, sometimes there's a little bit of competition, but drummers just want to know how you did it, and you want to know how they did what they did, and everyone's sharing ideas. It's just a really cool little scene, particularly in Manchester, because every drummer seems to know every other drummer. It's brilliant.
So there's no downside to being a drummer?
The downside is having to lug the gear about and not always getting help. I mean, in our band, we do sort of split the lugging the gear about, which is nice. But yeah, it's not the most fun thing to be dragging a kit about at midnight after you've just played. So the kit is a Natal Originals maple kit with the split lacquer, and it's brilliant. The thing that really got me about this kit is the tom sound. I've always had a really nice bass drum and snare drum sound from whatever kit I've had, but the toms have never quite been what I wanted them to be. But with these ones, so warm, and they're great for. There's a lot of tom grooves in the Twisted Dolls stuff, so it's nice to have. I think every drummer at some point will think of the sound that they want in the head, and then it's just a case of trying to find that. But I think this kit really is the sound I've been looking for. The snare is in metal as well, and it's a 14 by 5.5 brass snare. I've always used wood snares in the past, but since I joined the Twisted Dolls, I started thinking about metal snares, because I think they cut a little bit more, and they're a bit more sensitive because there's a lot of ghost note work in the grooves I'm playing, and it comes across really nicely on that snare. It's brilliant for that kind of music.
Right. How about your cymbals?
Cymbals wise, they're all Zildjian, so I've got K Custom Dark 14-inch hi-hats, K Dark Thin 17-inch crash, K Custom Dark 20-inch ride, and the K Dark Thin 19-inch crash. I tend to go for the bigger size crashes here, just because they blend really nicely with each other, and yeah, I just like the dark sound of cymbals. They just sound perfect.
Awesome. What about the heads?
Heads, I've got a bit of a mix of everything at the minute. So on the toms, I've got coated Remo Emperors over coated Remo Ambassadors. On the bass drum, I've got an Evans EMAD, and then on the snare drum, I've got an Aquarium Response 2 coated.
And hardware?
Hardware, I think all the hardware is Pearl stuff. I've just gone for that because my first kit was Pearl.
So you carried it across?
Yeah, and the stuff's absolutely solid, so it just made sense to stick with what you know. It was good. So
what sticks are you using at the moment?
I use Vic Firth American Sound 5A sticks. They've got a little round tip, which you get a really nice response from the cymbals and a bit of a warmer sound on the toms to my ear than a teardrop tip. So yeah, I'm really liking those at the minute.
Pedals Pearl as well, isn't it?
No, it's a Tama Speed Cobra.
Is it?
I should have known that. I've just got a few, but so I never know what's on it.
With your sticks, have you always used Vic? Or have you tried other sticks?
I've tried a few different brands of sticks, but for whatever reason they don't tend to work out for me. Some of them are a bit too grainy in texture, or they snap a bit too easily sometimes. But I don't know, I think it's just finding the perfect pair of sticks that you can trust them, because you don't want to be playing a gig and have a stick snap in the first song and sort of throw you off for the rest of the gig. So it's nice to have something that's quite reliable, and also it's how you share your ideas on the kit. So it needs to be something that's really comfortable to you to use.
You are actually quite a heavy hitter, aren't you? I didn't realise you was as heavy as that.
Yeah, I'm quite loud. I think that's happened since I joined the band, because we are quite full on when we're live. So yeah, I think the volume definitely went up when I joined the Twisted Dolls. But yes, and I just think that some of these grooves just sound a bit better, played harder.
Is there any other additions to the drum kit you're thinking of in the future?
I'm quite keen to try some of the Zildjian special dries. They just re-released them, and I think those would work quite nicely. Particularly, I'm quite interested in getting a ride. I do switch the ride cymbal out throughout the set. So this is a K Custom Dark ride, but sometimes I use an A Custom projection. That's mainly when I'm playing on the bell. It just cuts a lot more, so I'm interested in getting a special dry ride for a couple of songs that we've got. I think it'd be a really nice addition to the kit for the few songs.